It's knockout qualifying, live for race number 25 of the second season of the Hersheys Cup Series here at Kentucky Speedway. Good evening, everybody, and we are getting set here to find out who's going to be making the 42-car grid for this week's race under the lights at Kentucky Speedway, as we are just about to the chase for the championship starting. After this race, we head to M&M Super Speedway for the regular season finale, and then we find out the 16 drivers that will battle for the championship this season. As we are currently looking at the 95 of Austin Mongold, first off the pit road, and he is now on the clock. This racetrack very wide. We could see them go 3, maybe even 4 wide in the main event race, and right now Austin Mongold by himself coming out of turn 2 has hit 200 miles an hour. He's now moving up to 203 into turn number 3. So there are going to be some high speeds here in this qualifying session, no doubt about that. And the first official lap time laid down by Austin Mongold, 26.293. Mongold has made the last 2 races, the last 2 road course races at Yas Marina Circuit, and then last week at Mid-Ohio. There's Sean Galligan. Rookie Zachary Stoltz. Both of them will be on the clock now as Ryan Madden has crossed the line and has scored his first official lap time. Looking at the 44 of Elijah Gordon. Dillon Poteet top of the leaderboard, 25.8 for the Crosley Chevrolet. I think he was just up ahead here. There he is. And he just got dropped to third. Cody Llamas, 25.6, goes to the lead. And Dillon Young with a 25.7 went to second. Now Stoltz, top of the leaderboard. Mongold into second. And Poteet goes back to the top of the leaderboard with a 25.518. It's going to be a lot different from our past 2 knockout qualifying sessions, with the fact that they're going to have a lot more time to be able to lay down laps. They only were able to run 1 or 2 laps in knockout qualifying in the past 2 weeks, with it being long road courses. Looking there at Benjmain Miles, who is now on the clock. He's the defending winner of this race. As a matter of fact, it was his win at this track that got him into last year's chase for the championship. This season, 2 wins already. One at Bristol Dirt, and the other one was at... I lost it. I had it for a brief moment. Oh, Coca-Cola, I believe. Right now he's 11th, just dropped to 13th, and whoa, close to almost running Jessica Shelton over as drivers are merging here onto the track. This could be a big area for possible draft laps with the 02, 25, 31. Oh, wait a minute. Someone might be coming to pit road. Yep, it was Poteet. Right now, fastest car on track is Kyle Mathews. Now, Kyle Mathews is a former pole sitter this season. I believe he had 1 pole back at... It's one of the earlier races. I don't remember which one it was. And he just got dropped from the fastest speed by the car right behind him, Joseph Srigley. Right now, those 2 are the fastest on track. Srigley with a 24.825 and 8.55 for Kyle Mathews. Then you got Garrett Sidner, Zachary Stoltz, Matthew Gallio, John Gilbert, James Qualls, Seth Cole, Aaron Henderson. A lot of go-or-go homers up here in the top 10. Jake Baskinger, Oneal Balvin, and Brandon Gonzalez hold the final 12 spots, but now Gonzalez dropped out, and so too is Baskinger. Joshua Ciculli just jumped up into the 12th position, and look at them going 3 wide here. Qualifying. This is not the race, but man, if it's as fun to watch them here in qualifying, it's going to be a lot of fun when the 42 cars take the green flag, as now Benjmain Miles has jumped up to 12th. He's in the final transfer spot, just behind 11th place Zachary Fitzwater with 20 seconds to go. Kat Tellier has jumped up into the top 12, as has Stephanie Gardner and Oneal Balvin. Now it's James Qualls in the bubble spot of 12th. I'll be surprised if anybody's able to beat the 24.825 laid down by Joseph Srigley. I think he's going to be the fastest car in this session. And I'm actually a little bit surprised that Levi McIntire hasn't jumped up into the top 12. He's at the tail end of this group. but he hasn't been able to get a draft lap. And Mongol just dropped to 12th. Qual's currently eliminated. Who jumped in? It would have been... Well, I'm not really sure. I don't know who jumped up there into the top 12. Henderson, maybe? We are now within our cooldowns part of the session. 20 seconds left in that. And right now, Austin Mongold sits in the critical bubble spot. Currently in 12th. Oh, a car spun. That's Henderson. And he's sitting in the infield. He didn't hit anything, it didn't look like. And where's Mongold at? He might be on pit road. Doesn't matter. Session's over. Real quickly, though, I want to go back and just see what happened to Henderson. Why was he in the infield? I don't think he hit anything, but we're going to find out. Well, okay, so he's coming to pit road. He pulls into his pit stall. And then, well, that was weird. Huh. And it looks like it happened to a couple other people, too. Somebody else had that happen to him. I don't know who it was. Maybe we can find out real quick. We got time. We got nothing but time. Alright, so let's see. It was just a pit stall just ahead of him there. And I don't know whose pit stall that is. Unfortunately, there's no number to indicate it. So we'll have to do it this way. Oh, there it was. I think that was Shelton. I think that was the 0-2. And let's see what happens to her. Coming to pit road. Pulls into her pit stall, which is one stall just ahead of Henderson's. And same deal, and shoots her. Whoa. Right up the racetrack. It's a wonder nobody hit her. Holy cow. Well, that was a weird glitch. I'm hoping that's not going to happen in the race. So, for qualifying, it looks like the drivers that will move on to the next round will be Oneal Balvin. He jumped to the top of the leaderboard. Second place, oh wait, no, I'm sorry. That's qualifying. My bad. Wow. Fail on my part. Joseph Srigley, Kyle Mathews, Oneal Balvin, Matthew Dalio, Garrett Sidner, Stephanie Gardner, Zachary Stoltz, John Gilbert, Seth Cole, Aaron Henderson, Kat Tellier, and Austin Mongo will all move on to the next round. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 9 go or go homers there. Holy cow, only 3 chartered cars are moving on to the next round in this first heat. So that definitely means that the drivers that finished outside the top 12 that are go or go homers are definitely going home. They would include James Qualls, Keith Batson. We'd have to see where Kat Tellier is in speed after this. He may still make the race, but also officially not making the race will be Elijah Gordon. And that's basically it. Wow. Very interesting first session here. Let's go now for our second heat race of our first round of qualifying here, continuing the coverage from Kentucky. So we'll get ready here for our second heat race. And I don't know. With what I saw there with that glitch, it almost makes me wonder if I may even just turn pit stops off for this week's race, because the last thing we want is to have a good race get spoiled by drivers that hit a glitch just because they ended up having a pit stall that has that issue. So we may not even have pit stops in this week's main event. We'll see. Tim Walsh, first one off pit road. Michael Norman Motorsports still looking for their first win of the season. Matter of fact, I believe they're also looking for their first pole of the year. Neither Walsh nor Hudson nor Norman have been able to capture a pole yet. And Tim Walsh is now on the clock. We'll see what the Kellogg's Chevrolet can do. James Richardson now leaving pit road. Joe Rockingham would be the next one to lay down a lap time behind Tim Walsh. Let's see which driver's going to get the better lap time. Walsh will cross the stripe, and it's a 26.189. Rockingham, 25.992, as we couldn't really get back to him, unfortunately, because being the front straightaway, there were a number of drivers still on pit road. John Andrews, 25.505. See if we can find him. There he is. And Holden Gluba, James McLeod, they're up in the 25s. Richardson, 25.591. This could be a really good lap time for Andrews with the draft off the 22. 25.095. Really fast lap time right there for him. And now he'll be in the draft of Dougie Shears. He might be able to actually improve on that. We'll see. Well, he may get held up actually by the 21. No, his speed continued to increase through the corner. And he did. 24.857 for John Andrews. I would say that all but locks him into the next round. Keep in mind, 9 go or go home non-chartered cars made their way into round 2 of qualifying from our first heat. So the more drivers we get, the more of an issue we're going to have of drivers really fighting tooth and nail to get themselves into the 3rd round of qualifying, let alone the main event race. And you got quite a number of go-or-go-homers in this group. Marty Johnson, he made the race last week. Finished runner-up to Chris Dodd. You got Dougie Shears there in the 21, 27 of Gardner, the 29 of London, the 39 of Zach Rogers. All go-or-go-home machines. JT Bryant in this group, he just went to the top of the leaderboard with a 24.817. Seeing a nice draft lap. Someone's smoking. That is Nathan Hudson in the 7. Maybe put too much grill tape on the car, overheated the engine, and that engine has expired on his machine. Now, the good news for him is they can go to a backup car quickly, try and get out there, run a lap time to move on to the next round. They would not have to start at the rear of the field. However, he hasn't even completed a lap. So that's not good for him. James Richardson right now, he scored in 6th. Joshua Michaels scored in 5th, and Grayson Acevedo needs to step it up. He just ran his fastest lap, but it was a 25.4. That's only good enough for 21st place. Daniel Olson, Tripentacu Vernio, they've jumped up into the top 10. And as things stand, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 7 go-or-go-homers in the top 10 right now. There are 9 in the top 12 for this one. We could have 18. I think that'd be the most go-or-go-homers we've had move on to round 2 of qualifying. But it's not over. There's still a little less than 20 seconds remaining. Somebody can still jump up there into the top 12. And Acevedo's coming to pit road. Joe Rockingham right now just on the outside looking in. Needs to beat a 25.139, which just got laid down by Dallas McIntosh. So Rockingham, who was in 12th, gets dropped to 13th. McIntosh now into the top 12. And 10 seconds to go. It's looking like we're going to have 17 go-or-go-homers move into the 2nd round of qualifying. I don't think that's ever been done. Session is complete. Zeros on the clock, and that's going to be it. It will be McIntosh, Marty Johnson, Zach Rogers, Daniel Olson, Tripentacu Vernio, James Richardson, Joshua Michaels, John Andrews, Dougie Shears, Johnny Gardner, JT Bryant, and Pichu London, the fastest in this round of qualifying, in this heat, I should say. 3, 2, 1. That's it. It's over. And the 12 drivers, as mentioned, from London down to McIntosh will transfer into the next round of qualifying. That is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers moving on to the next round. They're go-or-go-home machines. Actually, no. I think it's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is. It's 8. Which means we're going to have a total of 17 drivers that are go-or-go-homers moving into the next round of qualifying. And they'll be battling for 7 spots in the starting grid. This is going to be a crazy 2nd round. Drivers that will officially not be starting due to so many drivers moving on to the next round of qualifying for non-chartered rides will include Joe Rockingham, Rocco Twyman, Holding Luba, Noah Kars, Johnson Adino, Kyle Keith, questionable for him. The last thing he wants to do is have two straight starts, did not starts. But I don't think that any of his teammates moved on to the next round of qualifying, which means more than likely he's going to miss the race again, along with James McLeod, Davey Johnson, and Jason Haywood, Marie Minobi. So that is going to do it for the second heat. First round of qualifying is done. Let's get ready for our 24 drivers for our second round of qualifying. A lot of drivers moving in, and they're still going to be going home. So as we get ready for the second round of qualifying, a couple of notes we have to make based on what took place in the first round of qualifying. Number one, none of the Sega Motorsports cars, the 1-8-48, moved on to this next round of qualifying, which means no charter swap can take place to get Kyle Keith into the race. So for the second straight week, Kyle Keith will not be taking part in the main event race, which, to be perfectly honest, with this being the next to last race before the chase field's put together, I think that all but takes Kyle Keith out of the hunt of having a shot of getting into the top 30 in the point standings and having his win at Pocono count towards a chase position. So a tough break there for the 42 team. Also worth mentioning, we've got potential of a charter swap taking place with the KAB Racing Enterprises team, with Kat Tellier, the chartered ride, moving here into the next round of qualifying. But what she has to do is she has to finish higher than 11 go or go home drivers in the speeds in this round of qualifying. There are 17 go or go home non-chartered cars here in the second round of qualifying, which says to me that we're more than likely going to end up not even knowing until round 3 who all is going to be making the main event. I would not be surprised if we have more than 7 drivers qualify their way into the next round of qualifying, and it will be there where it will be determined who's going to be racing the main event and who isn't. We're looking right now at the Cheez-It Ford of Dallas McIntosh. Had a decent run last week at Mid-Ohio, at least finished on the lead lap as I recall. And right now, pacing the field here in this session, 25.334. The lap time laid down by the Cheez-It Ford Fusion out of Roush Fenway Racing. The other thing I wanted to make note of, as you see one of the drivers I was just about to speak of go to the top of the leaderboard, that being Stephanie Gardner in the 82. All 3, they are non-chartered cars, but all 3 of the Joanna Atwood Motorsports cars moved into the second round of qualifying. The 27 of Gardner, the 70 of James Qualls, and the current car we're looking at is the 82 of Stephanie Gardner. As did all 3 of the Roush Fenway cars. See Aaron Henderson there in the 6, 17 of John Andrews, and we just saw Dallas McIntosh moments ago. It's also an opportunity for 2 drivers here that moved into this next round of qualifying to make their Hersheys Cup Series debuts. Only 2 drivers have yet to do it. Tripontac Uvernio in the 53, Pichu London in the 29. Right now, London is 7th fastest. Tripontac Uvernio was up there. He's now dropped to 11th fastest. Still with a shot of making their first race of the season. Right now, Stephanie Gardner, 24.995, and she just ran a 24.999. She was 4 1,000ths off her fastest lap. So that car is really fast. And while it's too early to say, I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be good enough to definitely get her into the next round. JT Bryant 2nd, John Andrews 3rd. Then it's Srigley, Henderson, McIntosh, London, Michaels, Balvin, and Cole, the top 10. And Cole just got dropped down to 11th. Marty Johnson now in 12th. And Cole just jumped back up. Where did he jump to? Up to 6th. Now it's Marty Johnson still in 12th, just ahead of teammate James Richardson, just behind Matthew Dalio. Right now, the non-chartered cars at the bottom of the list: Zachary Stoltz, John Gilbert, Johnny Gardner, Austin Mongol, Daniel Olson, Zach Rogers, Tripentacchio Vernio. Those guys got to step it up here. And they're only going to have about 25 seconds left to do something. And Stephanie Gardner just got dropped from the top of the leaderboard. Joseph Srigley there, and I don't think he's going to stay there long. This group here, someone's going to lay down a fast lap time. I think they are 3 wide. Mathews in this group, along with Bryant, Balvin, Dalio, Tellier, and Srigley showing the way. 24.826 puts him top of the leaderboard again. Zeros on the clock. I think that's it. And somebody just barely got a lap time in. I don't know who it was. Someone just jumped up. I think it might have been... Was it Tellier? I think it might have been Tellier. Jumped up to 8th. Mathews up to 7th. But the session is complete. And it will be Joshua Michaels, Pichu London, Dallas McIntosh, Seth Cole, Kat Tellier, Kyle Mathews, Oneal Balvin, Aaron Henderson, John Andrews, Stephanie Gardner, JT Bryant, and Joseph Srigley will be moving on to the next round. So, are we able to determine from this who is going to be in the main event? I think we are. Let's find out. Fastest speed, Stephanie Gardner. She's in. John Andrews, second fastest of the Go Homers. He's in. Aaron Henderson, third fastest. He's in. Oneal Balvin, fourth fastest. He's in. Seth Cole, fifth fastest. He's in. Pichu London, sixth fastest. He is in. And Kat Tellier is going to have herself within the top 7 speeds of the Go Homers, which means that Keith Batson will be in the race. Kat Tellier will be able to do the charter swap, which means as a result, Matthew Dalio, Dougie Shears, Daniel Olson, Marty Johnson, Tripentacchio Vernio, Zach Rogers, Austin Mongol, Johnny Gardner, Garrett Sidner, John Gilbert, and Zachary Stoltz. They will not be racing in the main event. And for the first time this season, Pichu London will be taking a Hersheys Cup Series main event green flag. He'll be making his first start of the season. Took 25 weeks for it to happen, but it's finally going to happen for that 29 team. So, now it's time to find out who's going to be starting on the pole position for this race. It'll either be Srigley, Bryant, Gardner, Andrews, Henderson, Balvin, Mathews, Tellier, Cole, McIntosh, London, or Michaels. We'll find out who will be in just a moment. Don't go away. Coverage continues here from Kentucky in just a moment. Well, the odds are definitely in favor of a Roush Fenway racing car possibly starting on the pole position. There's a 1 in 4 chances. All 3 of the Roush Fenway cars moved their way into not only the second round of qualifying, but here in the third round of qualifying. So, be interesting to see what takes place there. John Andrews and Dallas McIntosh have both been up at the top of the leaderboards at one point or another tonight. Aaron Henderson has been close, but he hasn't really been top of the leaderboard yet. As here comes a former pole sitter this season at Talladega Superspeedway, Oneal Balvin, off of pit road, and he will head out onto the racetrack. So now, as we've seen the draft play a key factor into these speeds that we've seen in both rounds 1 and 2, will we see drivers trying to leave pit road together in order to be able to get themselves a draft lap here to get themselves on the pole position? We'll see. Oneal Balvin on the clock. Trying to pick up his second pole of the season. With the speeds they're going here, about 200 to 205 miles per hour, it's like Talladega, so this fits right within Oneal Balvin's wheelhouse. And let's see what the first lap time laid down by the rookie will be. 26.062. That's actually a really good first lap for running all by yourself. Let's see what Joseph Srigley does. 25.532. That was a lot better of a lap time there. Srigley's been fast last few weeks. Kyle Mathews coming off of pit road. We'll see what he can do. Aaron Henderson, 25.875. JT Bryant, 25.960. He was second fastest in the second round of qualifying, and 25.317 for Srigley. Talk about improving on your lap. Dallas McIntosh just completed a lap, as did Seth Cole. Aaron Henderson up to second with a 25.691. No longer JT Bryant, 25.442. But does anybody have anything for Joseph Srigley? Well, somebody in this group might. Did any of them jump up? Mathews, Michaels, or McIntosh? No. Not this time, anyway. Trying to see if there's any other groups. Tellier, maybe? Up to third. JT Bryant still in second. Is anybody going to be able to do some draft lapping here to try and beat Joseph Srigley's 25.291? Someone might have. Nope, not in this group. How about this group? Anybody got anything to challenge Srigley with? Yes, indeed. Tellier, top of the leaderboard, 25.6 or 261, 3/100ths faster than Srigley's lap. So right now, Tellier would be on the pole. And let's see if anybody gets anything out of this group this time. No, nobody improved in this group. Oneal Balvin's kind of pulled into his pit stall in a rather bizarre way. I keep expecting someone from this group to do something. McIntosh or Mathews or Michaels, but nobody does. Nobody's improved their lap time. Well, the only one that did improve a lap time there was Joshua Michaels. He's now around 25.541, but that's only good enough for 7th. Keep expecting him, being in the draft of these two, to do something. Let's see if this time, if any improvements made. 25.350, he's up to 5th. But not being able to get up there into the 25.2s. Only drivers to do that so far are Tellier and JT Bryant. Bryant is only 2/1000ths off of Tellier's lap time. And that was the lap he just ran. 10 seconds. They might get around to the start-finish line. Will Bryant have anything to say about Tellier having the pole? Is there any improvement? No, there is not. For neither driver. I think John Andrews just, nope, he didn't improve on his lap time either. It looks like that's going to be all she wrote. Nobody else appears to have anything for these two. That'll be your front row right there. Tellier on the inside, JT Bryant on the outside. And the session is complete, and that's going to do it. So with 30 seconds cool down, this is the way they will be starting the race. Tellier and JT Bryant will be row 1. Joseph Srigley, John Andrews, row 2. Kyle Mathews and Joshua Michaels, row 3. Row 4, Dallas McIntosh and Stephanie Gardner. Aaron Henderson and Oneal Balvin will make up row 5. And Pichu London, Seth Cole will be row number 6. Once again, the 7 drivers that transfer in the non-chartered cars will be John Andrews. John Andrews, Stephanie Gardner, Aaron Henderson, Oneal Balvin, Pichu London, Seth Cole, Keith Batson, and I forgot who it was. There was one other driver back in the second round that's also transferring, and memories just failed me of who it was. But anyway, next up, we'll be going racing in the penultimate regular season race at Kentucky Speedway. Should be a great one. Hope you'll tune in for that. If you want to see what the full starting lineup for this race looks like, check down in the description below. And until then, I will see you next time as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.